This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
Leaving the Missouri River Basin, the party moved on a northwesterly line toward the Coteau de Missouri, the plateau country lying between the Missouri and the Jacques, today's James, rivers. As the party traveled over and around the Coteau de Missouri, the usual tasks of astronomical observations filled Fremont's days. But there were also stolen moments of carefree bliss, such as when he rode out ahead of the party with the hunter Louison Frenier in search of buffalo. Sometimes, when we had gotten too far ahead of our caravan, it was an enjoyment to lie in careless ease on the grass by a pond, and be refreshed by the breeze which carried with it the fragrance of the prairie. In Fremont, the old prairie hand Frenier found a willing student. With him, my prairie education was continued under a master, the explorer recalled. While Nicolet had stressed the virtues of quiet, methodical discipline, Frenier demonstrated a bolder way to exist in the wilds. He was a reckless rider, never troubling himself about impediments. If the shortest way after his buffalo led through a pond, through it he plunged. Possessed of a painter's eye and a poet's heart, Frenier also instructed Fremont in the peculiar beauty of the prairies. The uniformity is never sameness, and in the art of savoring the inevitable dramas that played out upon them. For instance, he taught Fremont about the mystery that always attends an approaching figure. Whatever the object may be, whether horseman or antelope or buffalo, that breaks the distant outline of the prairies, it always offers special interest. The horseman may prove to be enemy or friend, but the always existing uncertainty has its charm of excitement in the one case and the joy of the chase in the other. There is always the suspense of the interval needed to verify the strange object, and long before the common man decides anything, the practiced eye has reached certainty. This was the kind of lore in which Frenier was skilled. The mountain man epitomized the sort of rough-hewn eccentric, typical among whites who, during those decades, ventured into the West, with whom the explorer would, over the coming years, cast his lot. Years later, a Fremont admirer would ponder why a young man would solicit such work, take on the hardships and dangers in preference to the work of the frontier or the city. Certainly, part of the answer lies in the simple fact that Fremont felt comfortable among the men he found in the West. Given the risks and discomforts that characterized Western travel in that age, a certain personal eccentricity was almost a prerequisite for venturing into the region. Fremont, burdened with all the insecurities that attended his austere origins in class-bound Charleston, thus found a level of social comfort among the West's mountain men, soldiers, Indians, traders, miners, and voyageurs, that years after he had attained fame and wealth would continue to elude him in the drawing rooms of Washington, New York, San Francisco, Paris, and London. Led by the scout William Dixon, the men of Nicolet's expedition on July 6 suddenly found themselves gazing out on a stunning view of the James River Basin. Dixon, in truth, had been managing a surprise for us, Nicolet recalled. Their guide had been here before, and without breathing a word about what he had in store for them, had spent the afternoon leading them toward this favorite spot. Once there, savoring the men's stunned reaction to the sublime panorama, Dixon exclaimed, "Well, come now, you want geography? Look, there's geography for you." For Fremont, after 3 years of tromping about the leafy forests of the southern Appalachians and the upper Mississippi, the view offered a tantalizing glimpse of the sort of thirsty, tangled, wind and water-sculpted, tectonically shattered topography that spreads across much of the West. It was only one view, only one canyon, but the James River Basin sufficed to whet the young man's appetite for more, even grander, Western vistas.